Okay, this is going to be a very quick and simple, I guess, unboxing, first impressions / review of a kit from Apogee components, which if you're not familiar with them, I highly recommend them. 5 out of 5 stars. Best customer service around, and they pretty much have anything and everything you could ever need when getting into model rocketry, from starter kits all the way up to really advanced stuff. This is one of their actual kits that they make themselves, designed and produced. It's called the Flying Machine. I know it's sideways, but it is they call it a skill level 4 kit, mostly due to the fact that it actually can be flown with 3 engines in a cluster configuration with 2 breakaway side pods. So very similar to how the space shuttle or NASA's SLS space launch system would work. Couple neat things, pretty standard with most model rocket kits. There's a really great chart right here of several engines that you could fly it on, including the booster engines, but it also lists the engine manufacturers and your estimated height in feet and meters, which is nice. Also a pretty detailed description of the tools and stuff necessary to complete this kit. Looks really sweet. So, the nitty-gritty. Stuff falling everywhere. 2 airframe tubes. I don't remember the exact size. Really great quality on this. Kind of hard to see, but there's actually a kind of finish wrap that is offset so that the original spirals for the cardboard tubes themselves are actually covered. You don't have to try to fill them. Very nice. I don't know if I'd call it a thick wall. It feels about the same thickness as an actual motor mount tube, which is good. It's going to be very good and sturdy. So there's 2 airframe tubes. You have your main engine mount tube, which is 24 millimeter. D's, E's, and composite F engines. You have 2 18 millimeter tubes for the actual strap-on boosters, as they're called, which I'll get to those in just a second. So this is standard ESTA size, ABCs, and I think same thing. I believe there's some composite 18 mils that would be like D's, and I don't know if they go as big as F's. I'd have to look into it. These are the actual body tubes for the strap-on boosters, and these are an actual like balsa wood spar that essentially acts as a guide or rail for your booster. All these tubes are laser cut by Apogee, by the way, so real super clean cut. Just the slightest little hint of a burn mark, but nothing substantial at all. Nothing that's going to ruin the finish or you're going to have an issue with. Really neat thing about these spurs is they have this little, it's hard to see in this video, this little notch. And essentially that clips into or sets into a piece that goes on the bottom of one of your main body tubes. Okay, so it'll latch in like this, and then there's a hook that comes off the main airframe that goes in there, and then the nose cone of the booster kind of clamps over the hook. So that when the ejection charge of the booster goes off, the nose cone will blow out and it releases the grip on that hook, and then it can just fall away. Very cool little extra feature. Of course, you don't have to fly it with the boosters, but it would probably be a lot more visually appealing to do so. Very nice coupler tube. This is a 2-piece airframe, and if I remember correctly, he actually includes a piece of good quality plywood to create a bulkhead. So you have your, what would be considered your sustainer section and then your payload section. Nose cone is pre-weighted, so you don't have to worry about adding nose weight, which means it's going to be a very stable rocket, and this is extremely high quality. I couldn't tell you the kind of plastic it is, but it is very tough and durable. You could definitely lawn dart this and it would survive. But, you know, and that's the whole reason I'm doing this, is because of Apogee components. Like, they, not only do they put time and effort into their designs, but quality, big time. Vacuum form parts, extra details. These are port windows, ports, I guess you could call it, which on the model, 2 on each side, as you can see, and then a canopy as well. Cool thing about these is they're actually already formed to the radius, so once you actually cut them out, they'll fit right onto the surface of the air tube, and they will, you know, be really easy to glue and stuff. The hardest part's probably going to be cutting them out. And on Apogee's website, they have a whole series of construction videos for this particular kit, where the designer takes you literally through every single step. 3, I don't even know how thin those are, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, sheets of balsa that are for a detail part on the kit as well. There's a section on here that's designed to look kind of like, you know, a steampunk-esque boiler chamber, maybe. So what these are for is you know, measure them out and cut individual planks that then you can glue all the way around the surface of your airframe and detail it that way. Great idea. It is plastic parachute. That's the only thing I was a little about. I kind of expected a, you know, a fabric nylon chute with the quality of the kit, but not, you know, not a showstopper by any means. Good quality. Yeah, very good quality. 1/8 inch thick balsa sheets, laser cut. These are your fin sheets, okay? And they're a 2-part fin. I love the little bat wing design. It's great. The kit itself comes with some decal sheets, which I'll get into in a minute, that are going to go all along the edges of these. And I will get into that in just a moment. But there's a lot of other ways you could do and paint and finish this kit for sure. This particular sheet is what they call a tail, because there's main fins and they're kind of offset, and then there's a vertical tail section, and then these are canards, which are fins that are going to go up near the front of the nose cone, or the upper part of the airframe. Let's get to the soft components. Vinyl decal sheet, really good stuff. Good high quality decals. That and then vinyl. I'm not super fond of water slides. I have difficulty with them a lot. You also get a laser cut, really nice thick cardstock. This is a display stand that you put together and will be able to set the rocket on to display it. The fin configuration of this particular rocket would not allow you to stand it on the fins by themselves. This is a detail sheet, and what you do with these is basically you cut them out, and these are for the upper stage payload section in the nose cone. So 1/2 would go on the body tube, 1/2 would go on the nose cone. And then all the little dots are basically a stencil for where you can put rivets. I believe in the instruction videos he suggests using epoxy. I have a slightly different idea I'm going to try when I do the construction videos. I'll go into that detail. But just a really cool way to add a lot of nice little detail to the rocket. Same thing, you have a whole bunch of them here. This is for like the tail section, but you also have extra little hatch pieces to put on the boosters and one on the actual main rocket itself. These strips are for basically the same thing. You can cut these out and then literally wrap them around the airframe and your booster tubes and that kind of stuff to really give it that industrial steampunk look. Other than that, I believe the rest of them are for your main fins. And it's just a good thick heavy cardstock, and really the whole reason for this is just to have a stencil or an outline on your rocket itself to detail how you wish. Totally not necessary, completely optional. Pretty standard tube marking guide. Most rockets come with these. If you're familiar with any kit, you already know what this is. If you're totally unfamiliar with rockets, basically it's real simple. You tape this around the airframe, you get it lined up. Obviously you want to cut the excess or fold it. Actually that gray piece would be where you would overlap. And then from there, once it's wrapped around the airframe, you just go ahead and mark where your launch lugs and fins and everything are going to go. A very thorough, complete instruction manual. A lot better than what most, a complete parts list, quantity, and part number. So if you have anything missing or you have to replace anything, you can go right to Apogee and order the exact part. You don't have to sit there and try to, talk to somebody on the phone to get a description. Both illustrated and extremely detailed text. One cool little feature, each step has a checkbox, so you can literally check them off as you go. Once again, that just speaks to that little extra mile that Apogee goes, and the quality and stuff of their kits. I'm going to be real quick with the bag of small stuff because a lot of it's pretty self-explanatory. 3 very good quality, or 2, excuse me, Kevlar shock cords. Kevlar is extremely strong, strong as steel, as a matter of fact. Apogee prefers using Kevlar. I've never actually used it, so I'm not sure yet. I do know one thing I like about it is it's a lot smaller and thinner than most other shock cords, so you should be able to fit it into the body tube quite easily. So you've got your main rocket and then your booster rockets shock cord. Looks like 1/4-inch launch lugs, 2 of them. Okay. Nose cone pieces for your boosters. These are just pretty standard plastic nose cones, and I believe that just goes right into the body tube. We'll play around with those. These are the hooks that go onto the actual airframe, and that's how your booster rockets basically hook on. Excuse me. And then your nose cone kind of goes down like so. So once the nose cone gets ejected, just by friction, it'll pull away. A couple of those. These are the aft end pieces. It's really hard to see. So that'll glue to your main frame, and then that wood spar notches down into there and it kind of acts like a pivot point. Let's see. Oh yay. 2 Mylar streamers for your boosters. A really nice eye hook and bulkhead which is made out of plywood, not balsa or anything like that. No, laser cut. So this is going to go into part of your coupler tube. And then you'll have an eye hook in there to hook your shock cord and stuff to. Let's see, a couple of thrust rings, as they call them, which will go in the top of your booster tubes to stop the engine from blowing through it. A couple of centering rings, 2 centering rings each, it looks like, for the 18 mils, a center ring for the 24 mil, and possibly a thrust ring for the 24 mil. Same thing, plywood laser cut centering rings for your main actual 24 mil engine mount. And this one has like a little notch. Let's see if I can get that. And this is for the shock cord. Apogee likes to run their shock cords all the way down to the actual engine mount, which is a lot more secure than what like Estes and stuff, where they just glue it to the inside of the body cord. Or body tube, excuse me. Engine hooks. So you got 2 for the 18 mils, pretty standard size engine hooks. I don't know whether you can see that. And then a large, what they call an E-size engine hook. God, this lighting sucks. Anyway, engine hook for your main body thing. Yeah, obviously everything you need to complete the kit, and then some. I highly recommend this kit. It looks like it's going to be a fun yet somewhat challenging build. Once again, they rate it skill level 4 mostly because of the engine clustering. The details, you know, with the stencils that you can put on your fins and around the body tubes and stuff, there is by no means necessary do you have to recreate this kind of effect. But that's what they're for, is so that you have a guide to put little drops of epoxy or something else that isn't going to shrink. I wouldn't use a water-based glue because that'll shrink. And then obviously paint over top of it. You know, you could even do it half and half. You could, you know, build it to a certain point where it's kind of finished and then say, okay, I want to make sure it flies right and go for that route, which I've done on other rockets. And then finish it, you know. Either way, it looks like it's going to be a very fun, challenging kit. And the biggest thing, I've said it already and I'll say it again, is the quality of this kit is just hands down amazing compared to other kit manufacturers. Obviously, everyone is familiar with Estes, and anybody who's ever done a lot of Estes kits knows that, like, you know, a lot of their kits are a little lackluster on instruction as well as, you know, quality of parts. They're really designed for mass production. Apogee, you know, they're their own manufacturer and designer, and, you know, of course, obviously they resell other kits. So this is all done in-house, you know, with them. Definitely recommend it for sure. So I will probably be doing a build series on this. Hope that didn't bore everybody too bad. I've gone over my time limit by quite a bit. So I'll see you later.